That's bad.
Alright, what's going on, guys? We're back in the shop today working on, hopefully, the Skylark. There is a chance that halfway through this video I get distracted and start working on something else because there's 900 things going on around here. But I'm hoping that we can actually get this thing fired up for the first time in, as far as I know, about 4 years since this thing's ran. So, quick little backstory on this car for anybody who doesn't know or forgot because it's been so long. I picked this up, I think, about a year ago now. Real close to a year ago. And the car was in rough shape. So it was originally scrapped in like 2017, 2018, I think around there. And someone pulled it out of the scrapyard. They were going to make it like a circle track car. They said it was in too good a shape to beat up. So they ended up selling it and had a couple owners. The guy I got it from was going to part it out and then scrap everything else. And I was like, no, we can't do that. And slowly been piecing it back together. It did not look anything like this when I got it. It was like 5 different colors. It had like brushed on bed liner. No interior, needed to patch the floors. Obviously no engine, transmission, anything like that. And here we are, about a year later, working on it off and on here and there. The Death Row Skylark is very close to running and theoretically could drive. I got a couple wires to hook up for the transmission because this has a Gen 4 5.3 and a 4L80. Sloppy stage 2 cam, pretty basic setup. This engine's actually kind of like a little bit of a Frankenstein, so I got to play with the tune, make a custom ignition table and all that for it. Anyway, we should be pretty close to getting this thing fired up, and I am thrilled about it. This car has come such a long way. So the things I've done to it since you've last seen it, got the radiator sitting in place. I have to get a mount for it. I've got the bottom rubber like bushing mounts in a box. I think they're in the trunk, so I got to set those in it. I was just trying to figure out radiator hoses. Figured those out good enough. What else? You saw the exhaust. You saw the shifter. That beautiful Precision Performance Product shifter. I don't remember the driver's seat having that tear in it. That's a bummer. So, theoretically, I think we are a few gallons of gas away. Oh yeah, another thing I did was wired and finished plumbing the fuel system. I have to tighten a few of the fittings. So I need to get a few gallons of gas for it. We'll just use regular gasoline. Could run it on E85. I don't think it's going to really matter one way or another. Being naturally aspirated, not a max effort sort of build. So need some gas, need to make a tune for it, need a battery. Those are the 3 biggies. There is oil in here. I remember that. Won't be able to run it for very long. No coolant, no belt spinning the water pump. Got to put the O2 sensor in, which I got plugged in, just have to screw it into the pipe. Put it there so that when I lift the car up, it's hanging there, don't forget it. There's 3, I think, wires at the transmission, power ground, the converter wire, the TCC wire. We are still using the stock fuel tank, just an inline 255 pump for now, because, you know, we're naturally aspirated, even though we have huge Snake Eater 1500 injectors. If you guys want anything from Snake Eater, 10% off using code Snydertron. I'll also have a link in the description below. But yeah, we're pretty dang close to firing this thing up. So let's run to the fuel store and grab a few gallons. Yeah, we're getting there. Oh, nope, we're making a big ass mess. Alright, got the gas in the car. Didn't even spill a drip. Let's move on to some of the other stuff we gotta get taken care of. So, got the oxygen sensor in, lines zip tied up out of the way. Tightened all the fuel lines under here as best I can. The ones on the filter regulator are kind of stupid, so might leak there. Fingers crossed it doesn't. And I was hoping to find a tag that told me what gear was in this rear end, because I needed to know that information for the Holly to control the transmission, like shift points and everything correctly, and for the speedo to be accurate, obviously. But unlucky that I'm not seeing one. Odds are, I think the most common ratio for these Buicks was either like a 250 or a 273. So I'll put a 273 in. That's most likely what it is. And maybe someday down the road we'll throw like 350s or 373s in this thing. We could honestly probably, like in the truck when I had an 80 in that, I had 410s in that thing, and that thing cruised great. Like, it's still on the highway at 70 at like 2,600 RPMs with this same converter. So it always just, it kind of kills me when I see on the forums and like the Facebook groups and stuff like that, people are like, yeah, I've got a 60E or an 80E. What's the best gear ratio I can go? And then everybody's like, you don't want to go any higher than 373s if you're going to drive it. It's like, you've got an overdrive transmission. You could put fucking 456s in that thing and still cruise it. Anyway, before I rant about differing opinions, let's keep on keeping on. See, this thing's like just the perfect level of beat up to cruise around pretty much daily, but still nice enough to take it to car shows and people be like, dang, look at that dented up fucking Buick with the big old 295s. Sheesh. Oh, I've got to run the vacuum line for the map sensor because I'm using the Holly internal one. So I've got to plug off the port there and run the vacuum line from wherever to that deal. Do I still have the... Oh boy, I hope I still have those. Yeah, I'm sure I've got them around somewhere. Yeah, give me a second to look around. I'm going to try and find some stuff. Oh, update on the Fiero. Got a new intake for it. Check that thing out. The throttle body's right there. Fuel rails are right there. Yeah, that's pretty sick. I was worried it was going to be too high, but I think it might actually clear the deck lid. Might have to trim out the inner skin of it, but yeah, dude. Check that out. And I think I'll be able to like keep all this how it was. Gnarly. Anyway, back to where I was. So I did find two. I got this big honker there, and I got this tiny little baby honker here. I really need like an in-between size. I could make either one work. I think I'd rather use this one just because the port that would closest match this is at the back of the intake right. Let me set that down so I don't drop it. Right. Come on, where are you? Here, where my middle finger is. And it does actually feel significantly bigger than that. Dang. And the port that would best match this one is right there. Pretty sure that goes all the way through. So I think I'm gonna have to use this one and then cap off everything back there. Double, triple, quadruple check that will be a good vacuum source. It does go all the way through. Just wanted to make sure that it wasn't something stupid. And I have to get a vacuum line, which fucking means I can't fire this thing up today because none of my local stores are going to have anything like that. Anything that I want, at least, in stock. So, do I want the piece that will work today? Or do I want the piece that I want? Alright, so it has been a few days. I've just been kind of tinkering on a little bit of everything here and there, trying to get caught up on everything. Because everything seems to show up at once and everybody wants it done yesterday. So, I've been kind of trying to play catch up. One of those things includes this sick Monte Carlo. Yeah, this thing looks nasty. So, now that I'm slowly caught up on everything, I can get back to work on my stuff. Plus, parts showed up yesterday, which is nothing special. Vacuum line and a radiator cap. So I can run the vacuum line from the intake to the ECU, just use the internal map sensor, and I have to throw the battery back in it. we were checking the wiring for the lights and everything. This thing, I'm not gonna say it's the worst I've ever seen, because that'd be a lie, but things just aren't making sense. So really the only things I need with this that I don't already have are headlights, taillights, brake lights, blinkers I'll add down the road. Don't really care about those right now. This is Michigan. You can just do hand signals, you know, turn left. So I'll figure out something just to get those working and call her a day. Not like the headlights are doing much right now anyway. So I'm going to get the vacuum lines ran, throw the battery back in it. Maybe we'll see if this thing will fire up. Got the battery out of the red shop truck. So, and I've got gas in the tank. We should be able to fire this thing up, hopefully. I've double checked most of the stuff I could find, or think about, or remember. First starts always make me so nervous, man. Just fried the ECU. I hope not. I don't want them super tight, just in case I have to pull it off real quick, but let's go see what happens. We got a fuel pump. Please turn off in... there we go. Alright. File. Global configs. Skylark bass tune. Upload to ECU. Yes. Okay, whatever. We'll just turn you off. Alright, we got fuel pressure. Wizard. I hear a little bit of fuel leaking. We're going to ignore that for right now. TPI was successful. Let me get out and make sure the park does work. I just want to hear that. Alright, cool. Alright, fuck, we're leaking right there. Dang. Alright, threw the wrench on that. Hopefully I got it tight enough. I thought I heard something leaking at the back too. Let's check that real quick. Not seeing anything, so I'm sure that'll burst somewhere in a second. I guess let's see if it'll fire up. Alright, well, less than ideal first start attempt. Started to cough, which is promising. However, what's not promising is this entire hose being saturated, but the ends being dry. So that means this hose is junk and the fuel is like blowing through the inside of the hose. So that is annoying. Easy enough to fix, but annoying nonetheless. There was a little bit of smoke. Not entirely sure what that's from. And not sure what that, like, flex plate starter sound was. Interesting. I'm going to let this thing sit on the charger for a little bit, and then I'll come back out, and hopefully all the fuel will be evaporated by then, and we can start to investigate some things some more. Alright, it is the next day. I let the battery charge while I was just thinking through things, trying to figure out why this thing wouldn't fire up. And I realized I am the problem. I don't know why or where I got the idea that I put a 1X cam gear on this thing. But for some reason, I was just dead set on this thing, 58X crank trigger, and I switched it to a 1X because it had the VVT stuff, and I deleted that. And I was like, yeah, I'll just put a 1X cam gear on it. I don't know why I thought that. So I had the tune set up for that. Naturally, wouldn't work. And I was looking through my Amazon cart from like 9 months ago or whenever it was, because I was trying to find the sensor that I put in it, and I noticed that I had purchased a 4X cam gear, and I was like, just my world was crushed. I was like, no, this can't be. There's no way I could misremember something. That doesn't make sense. So I was like, well, if that's the case, I can put just a regular ass bass tune in this thing, and it should run. So I changed the back line because it was, if you remember, it was leaking through the line itself. Changed that with just a basic one that I had in a fuel line kit or a fuel rail kit. I got the one up here tight as I can get it, and it's still leaking, so I'll probably have to change that fitting or maybe put some pipe dope on it or something, but it was bad. Anyway, now we should be able to fire this thing up and actually hear it. So, third time's the charm. Let's put you guys on the tripod and see if we can hear this thing. Got the battery hooked up, cam sensor's plugged in. I did swap the 2 wires for the cam sensor when I was trying some stuff, so might have to swap them back. Not really sure. It is a 24X harness on a 58X 4X engine now, so we'll just see. Let's see if it fires up. Or coughs or does anything, really. Come on, baby. But woo! Oh fuck, it runs! Let's go! Like I said, I think we've got a hell of a vacuum leak because it was idling at like 3,000 RPM, and I probably shouldn't have but sometimes you just get a little excited. Fuck, it's alive! Yeah, we've got to have like a hell of a vacuum leak somewhere because, or maybe, no, throttle's closing all the way. So yeah, we've got to have a vacuum leak somewhere because this thing was idling at like 26 to 3,000. And I probably shouldn't have, but you know, sometimes you just get excited. Oh man, it sounded smooth too. Wasn't any weird noises. I wish I could have heard it idle, but I'm just fucking happy that it's running. So now I've just got the little stuff to figure out. You know, hose clamps, make rad mounts, accessories, you know, stuff like that. Fix the fuel line. Tranny fluid in it, headlights, taillights, shit like that. Get the hood on it. Fuck yeah, dude. God, I'm so stoked. So that is just a massive victory that I think we should end the video here before anything bad happens. I'm gonna disconnect the battery. And the exhaust sounded good too. Like even at, like when I whacked it, like, I don't know, 4,500, 5,000, it was not super loud. That's awesome. So, huge win. Let's go. Death Row's running. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Death Row is finally running and sounded mean as hell. I love it. And thank you guys for subscribing, clicking that bell, sharing, all that good shit. I'll see you guys next time.